I was annoying them. The chance of getting married at the weekend.
You're going that way because you want to win out. You know what I mean? Very
The confessor who built his abbey in the west, his minster in the west, known as Westminster Abbey and Westminster, the palace that we see in the distance. St Paul's Cathedral, that we'll see very shortly on our right-hand side, was the easternmost cathedral. So Westminster Abbey was regarded as the church in the west. This is the South Bank Arts Complex, site of Old Bailey. Now, ahead of us is the greatest invention, construction of Sir Christopher Wren. Ladies and gentlemen, this is St Paul's Cathedral. This was where we had the state funerals of Nelson, Wellington, Sir Winston Churchill. The wedding 20 years ago of Lady Diana Spencer and Prince Charles. It is home to the tombs of Wellington, Nelson, famous painters like Turner, Joshua Reynolds, Millais, the pre-Raphaelite painters, Rossetti, Edwin Burne-Jones, William Holman Hunt. His Light of the World you can see inside St Paul's Cathedral. You can visit the American Memorial Chapel. It's the third building on the site. If you like, it is the very first indoor shopping mall of the 16th century. This huge building to our left-hand side is the Bank of England, ladies and gentlemen. The government's bank, the banker's bank, where we keep our gold bullion. And talking of banks, to our left-hand side is Lombard Street. It was the Italian bankers from Lucca, from Siena, from Florence, who settled here in this street, Lombard Street. And they were the origins of banking in the City of London, because the City of London is undoubtedly the powerhouse of world finance. The powerful money market of New York City is columned to our left-hand side. It is 202 feet high, so about 60 meters high, 311 steps from top to bottom. Nobody has ventured up this morning, perhaps because of the weather. And at the base of the column there is a frieze of the king at the time, King Charles II, who had spent... You can see the bus crossing the road. That is like a drawbridge. It's called a bascule bridge, the French word for seesaw. That opens in the middle to let tall ships into the Pool of London, this stretch of water here to our left. That bridge opens around about 500 times a year. When it first opened, back in 1894, it opened around 500 times a month. And the tall ship that you see to our left is a battle cruiser. That is HMS Belfast. That saw service during the D-Day landing, the 6th of June 1944, Operation Overlord. In the very distance you can see 3 tall towers, a pyramid in the centre with a flashing light at the top. That is Docklands, that is Canary Wharf. And from our next stop, London Bridge, stop number 17 is Exegal. That ceremony has never been missed, not even during World War II. Now the Tower of London became an observatory, it became a royal mint, it became a royal menagerie, a royal zoo, but it became infamous for imprisonment of villains sentenced for treason, and the Houses of Parliament, they were brought down river by barge, and they were brought through Traitors Gate. Now to our left-hand side, you'll see a turreted gatehouse, that is Traitors Gate with a semicircular archway. Now let me point out this riverboat to our left here, the white and red riverboat. These are the boats that we have a franchise with, the City Cruise boats. They land at Tower Pier to our left-hand side. The very first boat will be leaving the Tower Pier to our left-hand side at 10:35. They go every half an hour. Will be told to you by the yeoman warders, regarded often as beefeaters. For God's sake, ladies and gentlemen, don't call them beefeaters. They hate that. The real beefeaters.
Jingli. Ja, und die Lady Christian von der Bauch, die Ehe, buying a print or something, like a print or something.
Gosh, look at these big cannons and things.
Main feature is that thatched roof. It's the only one been allowed to have one since the Great Fire of London. Keep looking to your left hand side, just past the globe there, the big building with a large chimney in the middle. So this used to be the old Bankside Power Station, but they've converted it now of a cost of £100 million into the new Tate Modern Art Gallery. It is free of charge to go in there, but then again, if you've ever seen modern art, you'll understand why. Another bridge to come under, some of you might have heard about this one. This is the new Millennium Footbridge. The Blade of Light, or as we like to call it,
the Wibbly Wobbly Bridge. When this bridge was opened last summer on a Saturday, it got closed 2 days later on the Monday, because when people walked on it, it started to wibble wobble. As you can see now, the engineers have come up with a perfect solution. Just don't let anyone walk on it. It cost £18 million to build, and they do say for a further £5 million we might be able to use it. Who knows? Not even the experts. But what they forget to tell us on our... Still on our left hand side, you see the tall block there, looks like a block of flats, and the building in front of it, just behind those trees with a glass frontage there. This is Kent House. This is the headquarters of London Weekend Television. When you see the morning programmes or the evening news, and you do see the backdrop of the River Thames, it is actually this part we are passing now. So if you are sitting with someone else's husband or wife, please look to your right. No one's being naughty battle of the River Nile. Now there is something wrong there, I don't know if anyone's noticed it yet, with the 2 sphinxes at the bottom. They should be looking outwards, guarding it, not looking at it. Some people. Charing Cross Railway Bridge in front of us now, but to the right hand side, just through the gap here in these trees, you'll see that big impressive building with a black glass in the middle. Well, that is part of the station. The chap who designed that building was a Terry Farrell. He won an award. It's supposed to represent a train coming out of a tunnel. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you can look at that all day long. You still won't see a train come out of a tunnel. It's more like a 60s jukebox to me. Hotel we're now, and private accommodation. Well, to our left now, ladies and gentlemen, you can't fail to miss it. This is the largest Ferris wheel in the world. This is the London Eye. It's 450 foot high. It's got 32 pods, and each pod are capable of carrying 25 people each. It takes approximately 30 minutes to a complete circle, and it doesn't actually stop, so you've got to get on and off while it's still moving. If you take a closer look though, it's not actually going that fast. It's only about a mile an hour, I do believe. It will cost you between £8 and £9 to go on there today, and they do say from the very top, on a clear day, you can see Australia. Someone's listening, I know they are. We'll just pass the eye there, ladies and gentlemen, the big impressive building on our left. This is the old County Hall. This was the headquarters of the Greater London Council. But they got abolished a good few years ago now. It's been taken over, we do believe, by a Chinese group. We've got a few hotels in there, a few nice restaurants. That's the largest indoor aquarium in Europe. You've got an arcade and obviously a McDonald's. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is your destination over to our right hand side, Westminster Pier. In the background there you've got the Houses of Parliament and what everyone knows as Big Ben. But this isn't actually true. The name Big Ben is only given to a 13.5 ton bell that strikes the hour. What you're actually looking at is called St Stephen's Clock and Tower. If you look at, well, we all know it as Big Ben anyway, don't we? But if you look at Big Ben now, see the gap to the right? Well, the 2 towers that are coming into view are part of Westminster Abbey. In the background there, 2 towers. Well, looking at the Houses of Parliament again, see the furthest tower way at the other end? The Square Tower. It's got a flagpole on the top of it. This is called the Victorian Tower. And if the Union Jack was flying today, well, that lets us know that Parliament are in session. It doesn't actually mean that they're working, it just means they're in there doing something. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go over to your destination now, Westminster Pier. So I'll take this opportunity.
You can stand next to him and take photographs and explore Abbey Courtyard and go through to St James's Park. Green all over again. We're not there yet. So if you still want to do the Queen's Hall, it might be advisable to change there and get the outgoing Queen, because we're incoming, we've done the whole thing there. So you could change there, and you could also change to a blue or a red. Everything stops in Gibraltar. Yeah, change to that blue and green here. Well, here in Trafalgar Square, we've got the demonstration. They want to legalise cannabis.
Wow.
Well, they've got a lot of bands there.
The next road on the left is Oxford Street, 1.5 miles long.
And in doing this, it wasn't a particularly good idea, because no longer does the sand connect to the body, and the moisture remains in the body. The net result is that, of course, the body rots, and you're left literally with a bag of bones in this way. And if, in fact, the jackals come along and actually dug up your ancestor, and you see this, you realise that they've been destroyed by you. You've done this on your ancestor. So they are no longer going to have an afterlife. The reason
Ja, das haben sie eben in anderen Buchstaben auch noch gefunden. Und dafür konnten sie sich dann lesen. Steht da, wenn man das lesen. Ich habe es schon 100-mal gelesen, aber da war eben in zweierlei
Production lines, 63 of them were being used on the road, the rest of them were too powerful. It's got 3 seats, one of them big enough for a human being. Steering wheel in the centre of the dashboard, no wing doors, opens up like a DeLorean, and underneath the boot is a Formula One engine. 600
Can you
There we go.
eradicate his double chin or anything?
What's that?
Have you got the technology to eradicate his double chin or anything?
There's that. There's a way. And there's.
Can you see mine?
And there's the bar.
Should we take a picture of you?
Yeah, we should take a picture of you.
Don't ask me, because I don't know how to handle these things.
Oh, there we are, just wavering. Oh my god, look.
Aluminium as well. And alloys, you fixed alloys up here.
Yeah.
Alloys up here.
Morgan.
Please do not fix it.
Okay, we're done with Morgan.
So it's nice and clean, as you can see. That was one of those
Yeah.
Eric, one of those steps. At the moment that isn't working, so it's fixed now.
Ah.
It's my new piano, which isn't new, but it's new to me.